start with the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, because...
Seems weird.
Yeah, it was reported he had a little rough outing in practice on Thursday, that he was inconsistent, making some throws late, holding onto the ball a little too long. But what I liked was to hear from veteran safety Kevin Byard, who told the media, it's the defense's job to be tough on Caleb. And he gave him some encouragement. And let's be honest. Did anybody think it was going to be easy for Caleb Williams or any college athlete right out of the gates coming into the NFL? No matter how good you are or who you are, there are going to be growing pains and there are going to be struggles. Plus, this is a good thing. You want to face a little bit of a challenge in practice so you're not completely blindsided in your first couple of games. This is the first time he is facing an NFL defense, and that is why practice is so important. You got to get your firsts out of the way in practice. Get those jitters, whatever it is. I mean, it's a completely different game and a completely different size defense that you're going to be facing from college into the pros. And remember, there's a lot of pressure on Caleb Williams, not only being the number 1 overall pick, all of the hype that he is a generational talent, someone we haven't seen like that maybe since like a Patrick Mahomes he was being compared to, but also the Bears have never had that guy at quarterback. We talk about it a lot. The Bears have never had a quarterback throw over 4,000 yards or more than 30 passing touchdowns in a single season.
Yes.
That can all change with Caleb Williams if he gets the support he needs and if he has situations like this in practice. This has to happen.
I hate this storyline, I'm going to be honest with you, Alex, because I don't even want to call it struggles. This is all part of it.
Yes.
It is not only was he out there for the first time with his team in totality, but he wasn't even out there with his entire team. You had multiple guys missing on offense. Roma Dunze isn't out there right now.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen wasn't at that practice. You had multiple guys that were being held out for whatever reason, not to mention the defense you're going against has been together for the most part for the last couple of years. Kevin Byard is not a good example because he just joined the team.
He's new.
But for the most part, a lot of those defensive players have been there. They know the system.
Yeah.
That's all this comes down to right now is learning the playbook.
Yeah.
That is what Caleb Williams is trying to do. That is what the offense is trying to do. That's what everybody on the offense is trying to do, first of all, because Shane Waldron is new, their offensive coordinator. So I don't really want to hear anything about if Caleb Williams was missing some throws or if he's holding the ball a little too long at this stage, guys. It's May. He's
our first looks at OTAs.
I will tell you what I am encouraged by. Is that our friend Courtney Cronin, who's been on the show, she's the ESPN reporter for the Chicago Bears, or covers the Chicago Bears. She said that after every throw that either didn't go the way they wanted it to or whatever, Caleb went immediately over to Shane Waldron, his offensive coordinator, and talked about it with him.
How was he going to learn?
That's
how was it? You have to make mistakes to learn.
And there's so many people, and it's such a delicate situation in Chicago right now because there is a lot of pressure on Caleb Williams. He's Matt Eberflus comes out, their head coach, saying no conversation. He's the starter, obviously. But that means that you're looking to be the quote unquote savior of this franchise. Now you're set up very well. Part of this support is going against a good defense, is being surrounded by experience and teammates that have been in the league for a while, an offensive coordinator that has a track record of getting the most out of multiple quarterbacks for that matter. I can't express to Bears fans enough. This is what is supposed to happen. This would be happening to literally any quarterback, no matter how long they'd been in the league, if they had a new coordinator, if they had new pieces on offense, all this other stuff. All you're trying to get down is the timing, the checks, the different things on each different play. While you're trying to learn the playbook, which is extensive. They're installing everything right now. Because then when the season rolls around, then that's when you start game planning and you start picking out individual pieces from the playbook and honing in on those for the week. That is not this. This is learning the entire thing. Which is most NFL playbooks are huge.
But you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of like the number one top celebrity that everyone's obsessed with, right? Every little thing that you do is going to be watched nitpicked, and someone's going to have an opinion on it. So Caleb is that guy coming into the league this season. Every little thing that he does is going to be watched. It's going to be criticized. Yeah. People are going to have opinions. So yeah, you're like one of your first practices. It's not going to go easy. I don't think. Out of this world if you thought it was going to like just click right away. That's not how a team works.
The other thing people need to understand too is we are using the term practice very loosely.
Yes.
They are not in pads.
No.
They are in shorts and t-shirts.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to hit anybody. You are not allowed to get in anybody's face. You're not allowed to contest anything. He's like, we have no idea what the offensive line actually looks like, what the run game is going to look like, any of that, because that is not being tested right now. It is literally just the mental aspect of going through the motions and learning the playbook. And actually, I wrote about it for Fox Sports because there is a tremendous amount of pressure on Caleb, like we keep saying, and how OTAs are maybe the most important for him of anybody at this point because he has to get used to everything. But in there, I actually laid out a schedule, a daily schedule from OTAs from an actual team in the NFC.
Okay.
Went out, asked a coaching friend of mine, hey, can you just send me your schedule?
Yeah.
Because they're all some variation of the same thing.
Yeah, and they're not all mandatory yet.
Right. It's voluntary. That's why you don't see these guys necessarily there. And if there's any drop of chance that there is a little bit, slightest bit of injury, like literally that,
you're not
risking it right now.
No, sit down.
So if you want to see exactly what these guys are doing, especially when it comes to the rookies, because the rookies are doing more during this time than the vets are. You have like the first half of the day is set up for the entire team. And then the second half of the day, like after lunch, is usually rookie programming.
Okay.
So if you want to go and look at that up, please do. It's on foxsports.com. It'll give you, I think it'll put your mind at ease too when you realize how much time these guys are really spending on task with each other in these rooms with their coaches.
Building chemistry.
It's not just what you see on the field. It is so much more than that. Is in these meeting rooms, exactly, building chemistry and getting to know their players between the different meals, getting treatment in their training room, and then these rookie programmings. And I've been a part of a lot of the rookie programming at working for a team. It varies. Literally, like, you can go and play dodgeball. You can go and play laser tag.
Oh, yeah.
We went to an Air Force base in Tampa. We would go to Medill every year.
It's literally like if you were on any kind of like sports team, like in high school or college, you did that before the season started. You go and do team building activities. You got to come together and like to join.
Learning how to manage your finances now that you have a like
millions of dollars.
Like, teaching guys how to use direct deposit, which actually a lot of these guys now with the NIL stuff kind of come in knowing how to do that. But before, guys weren't allowed to handle their own money, so there was a lot of like lifestyle adjustments that needed to happen. So they have so much on their plate. It's designed this way to throw everything at them. I don't want to call it struggles. I don't want to even call it practice. Like I said, relax, guys. It's fine. This is exactly what's supposed to happen.
It's good. Like, it means people are excited to see him. And we knew this was going to happen.
I know. It's going to be a long off season.
This is just the beginning. But now we're going to go to the opposite end of the spectrum, and someone who loves the media and all the attention that he's getting. Aaron Rodgers is back, you guys, and really leaning into his villain era. Listen to what he had to say the other day.
We are must-watch TV, and that's pretty obvious. Everybody knows that. Whether you love me or hate me, people want to see me play. They enjoy watching me play, and we are a team to watch this year. Not surprising. As far as us owing people, yeah, that's fine. Whatever. I don't care what anybody has to say about that. That's great. For me, it was rough for the league. I get it. Me only playing a few plays last year. That's going to be different this year. And, what happens when we play them back this year with 6 great primetime games? What are they going to say next year?
I mean, all of the pressure is on Aaron Rodgers this year, and he's welcoming it. I mean, he has a lot to prove. He only played 4 snaps before snapping his Achilles last year. As you heard him say, they have 6 primetime games. Yeah. The Jets are favored in 14 of their 17 games, which, like, you guys, slow your roll. Like, take a beat. We need a bigger sample size of Aaron Rodgers and the Jets than 4 snaps. He hasn't even played an entire game there. Like, yeah, they have pieces. They have Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, revamped O-line, Sauce Gardner on defense.
I was like, their entire defense is fantastic.
How realistic are these expectations? 14 of their 17 games?
Oh, no.
That would be one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, with their favorite. But like, here's the thing is that is exactly the expectation I have for the New York Jets. Do you know what they gave up to get Aaron Rodgers? Super Bowl is the expectation for the New York Jets right now.
Yeah.
Like anything less than an actual playoff run is going to be catastrophic, not even bad, catastrophic for the New York Jets because of what they gave up to get Rodgers, because of what they pay him. And now because you already didn't have him for a whole season. So now he didn't
do anything. You didn't go out and get any sort of like real backup scenario once he went down.
No, not last year. They finally have Tyrod Taylor now. But my thing with so Aaron Rodgers is totally right, and that hurts coming out of my mouth. The other thing that he also said in this was, I know,
I was like, I could tell that took a lot. It took a lot.
As someone who has actually had to cover him, it's not.
Yeah, deep breath.
Deep breath.
Deep breath.
Nothing is more infuriating to me than when Aaron Rodgers makes sense, because he did that again later on in this interview where he was like, "Yeah, I mean, if I don't do well, we're all getting fired."
Oh yeah, he's very aware.
He's very aware, and he's also very transparent about all of that.
Yeah.
So like I said, I hate it when he makes sense.
Yeah.
It's true. It's all true though, and the expectations. But at the same time, the other side of that is the expectations are warranted because this is a Hall of Famer. This is a guy that has won a Super Bowl. This is a guy that has had multiple league MVPs. This is a team that before Aaron Rodgers went down last year had the same expectations because they do have so many good pieces.
Yeah.
So I'm not hearing any of the tempering whatever. Like it really is. They need to have a deep playoff run, if not get to the Super Bowl. Otherwise, everyone's out of there in East Rutherford. I don't
so much. But like, can you imagine? Like, I know when you say your favorite in 14 or 17. I mean, like what? Ravens won 13 games last year, and that was like the most.
Well, here's the thing too:
across the league,
the AFC East looks winnable.
Yeah, with the Bills, they didn't really. They lost their 1 and 2 receivers.
Right,
they
drafted
a rookie receiver who like looks like he's going to fit the system great.
Right,
but
and
like,
you have Josh Allen, so I'm not gonna count it against you.
But you still have Tua and Tyreek Hill with the Dolphins, which they could be great. He's in a contract year, which we're going to dive into later, so he could be playing for his contract and his job.
But like again, if you look at the talent on Miami versus the talent on the Jets, I'm putting that like right there.
But prove it. The Jets like have is it the longest playoff drought in sports?
Yeah, it is.
I think definitely in the NFL, but I think it like crosses over to other sports.
All the four major American sports. Yes, I think that's true. But again, like I said, these were the expectations when Aaron Rodgers got there. This is why they went and got Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Also, Aaron Rodgers is capable if he wants to.
Yeah, but he's also coming off.
Oh yeah,
a major injury. He's going to be, I think, 40, right, when the season starts.
Yes.
Like, this is a different Aaron Rodgers. The last time he was healthy, also wasn't a great end of the season.
I'm not saying and we don't talk enough about the fact that he had a thumb injury for most of that year on his throwing hand, and like he downplayed it.
Rodgers
I know.
Today.
Because
who are you?
He downplayed it, and we all were just like, yeah, so that didn't affect him. I'm like, stop. Of course it did. That's his throwing hand. Anyway, but that's the thing is like, I am buying into the expectations while also being very realistic in that things rarely go that way, as we saw last year. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to go well for the Jets, but I'm just saying our expectations.
I'm having zero expectations until I see at least one full game with Aaron Rodgers. 4 snaps is a sample size that we have.
Yeah, I just think there's
4 snaps.
You need to hold them to that standard. I don't think it's like, again, I don't like it. I don't think that the Jets are really going to end up manifesting into that.
You know what I'm also curious about? Like, because he was like very much obviously in the media during his recovery. Do you think he like hired a camera crew and was like filming himself for his recovery? He's like getting a little more in the media. Are we going to get like a comeback documentary from Rodgers?
Honestly,
like, it kind of feels like the way he's talking to the media right now. We're must-watch TV. Come hang, like you're gonna like you either love me or you hate me.
But again,
he's building his brand.
He's being self-aware. Yeah, I'm sure that he has that because clearly he has aspirations of getting into politics. You know what I want to know is the X factor to see if this is going to go well?
What?
I want to know who Aaron Rodgers is dating. Oh. I'm so serious, Alex. He takes on the personality of whoever he's dating. What? Think about when he was with Olivia Munn. He was on red carpets. He was clean cut. He was whatever. Danica Patrick. He's like this ultimate competitor, yada, yada, yada. And then he was with like some hippy dippy, like witch kind of girl. And he showed up. And this is when I covered him, showed up to press conferences in all black, like cloaks with like necklaces. And his hair was all wild and greased back and whatever. This man takes on the personality of anybody he's dating. Okay.